Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Match 6, our last game of the first day of the group stages, and it will be an exciting one. IG Invictus Gaming defending TI3 champions versus LGD International.
Yeah, before I actually get onto the player card introductions, I would like to announce that BTS are taking applications for a caster, because people here are just like, peace. Person here. Well, Blitz is supposed to be casting, but he just had none of that. And LD, I don't know what he's doing.
Blitz and LD missing at the same time.
I see where we're going with that. But with that said, let's go into our player introduction. IG, you're defending champion. Your team that should be stomping everybody, but I don't know. We don't even know if they could be LGD International. This is Faith. Do we have Faith? No, this is not Faith.
Faith is 5th.
Holy shit. This is they all look alike, right?
Wow, you're racist.
What?
Against Asian people.
Oh well. All right, so it's gonna be a one-row carry.
Isn't that your
That's
picture?
me right there. He's your traditional carry, and we'll see how he plays. Traditionally, Zoe is so good with Lifestealer. Hopefully, he's gonna be doing okay. 430, busted out some Shadow Fiend today. Where the hell's a Brewmaster? I want to see Brewmaster. I want to see.
Screw the melee ones. Ranged ones are more exciting.
All right, fine. This is YYF.
The Bat Rider, King of Bat Rider.
Yeah. Good smile here, man. All right, let's move on. That's all I gotta say. Good smile. Chuan, he's like, what the F, man? Pinoy or Pinoy Pass. Did I just call him Pinoy? Pino Pass. And of course, this is Faith.
They all look the same.
They all look the same. Faith and Zoe look very similar to me. All right, you got the American
Okay, we have
team.
Pycat from LGD.int. The one role, he pretty solid. I wouldn't say there's anything particularly special about him compared to other carry players. We have G. God, he goes solo mid. He takes a little bit more risk than normal. And wow, Lumi, you are awful. Anyways, on to the third player. We have Brax, offlane player. He played pretty fine Nature's Prophet earlier today, as well as a pretty decent. Oh yeah, he played a very nice Bat Rider and a decent Nature's Prophet, but they still lost the game. He died a couple times unnecessarily, but fantastic Bat Rider. Not as good as YYF still. And then we have Misery, the fourth player and one of the two supports. I can't think of anything special to say about these guys. Pretty cookie cutter. Really handsome. Really nice magazine poses. And last but not least, we have 1437. I think Visage should be up there. He played a pretty fine one earlier today. And just pretty run-of-the-mill supports. I don't think they excel in one particular area. Their playstyle leans towards more like slightly aggressive early if they have the right lineup for it, or else they just play passive farm. But generally goes for like slightly greedier strategies for protect ones sometimes. They went greedy last time. They like Midas's, and they like their Shadow Blades. They love their Shadow Blades. Good Wisp players though too. They do something Wisp Venge. We may see something unusual from them. Bam!
Hey guys, we are ready to get in the game.
How the hell did I get here?
This is Luminous
so
number 2. We cloned him, and
we don't have enough real casters, so. On the cloning? Yeah, you got to trip over for some light bulbs.
All right, guys, we're into the draft here. This is LGD.int versus Invictus Gaming. LGD.int sitting okay in terms of their rankings. Invictus Gaming surely a little disappointed that they're not ranked higher currently, or not ranked higher, but not scoring as many points. But quite a ways into the draft here. First round bans, we saw Bat Rider OD, as well as a Wisp and an Alchemist out of IG. So we actually see a Razor picked up really fast. I assume this was in response to the Lifestealer. Most likely just because the static link goes through Magic Community. You can start it off. Lifestealer will then lose a lot of damage and hopefully not murder all of your people.
Yeah, the way that Lifestealer takes a fight against you is that he pops open Moon on one of your dudes to turn on his Rage, turn on his Armlet, and that normally signals, oh crap, we have to run. But the proper response from a Razor is you link him, and suddenly it forces the Lifestealer to run away. And that's when you capitalize on his Rage going off. That's when you range stun him from Dragon Knight, and you could turn fights around if you get a good link off. So that's kind of the reason behind that Razor pick. I'm personally more impressed with the Tinker ban because it shows that they're aware of IG picking Tinker. I'm not sure if you were watching that particular game.
I don't think I was. Who are they playing against?
IG
Just tell me
RS,
about Tinker.
RS.
Okay.
So they picked
Yeah,
Tinker, they picked Living Armor Tree, and then they had a Shadow Demon as well. So they basically just put like 3 layers to Marcher Machine, and they had a bear with Living Armor just ramming our towers. And there was like no response from ours.
Was that one of the games that we casted or no?
We broadcasted. I don't think you and I casted.
I was
game.
watching them
Yeah,
for sure.
I know we had a lot of games today, so for those of you guys who are that are forgetting a couple of matches, especially if you guys are jumping from stream to stream. Of course, Join Dota Red is broadcasting, Shiver Gaming as well as D2L, sorry, is also broadcasting. So there are definitely a lot of amazing matches out there. But I want to see how my IG is doing. Are they going to be your championship
Your
team?
IG.
My IG.
I watched you watch them play versus Alliance, and every time an Alliance member died, you'd be like, "Oh yes, yes."
Yeah. I was like,
Yes. And then what happened?
and then Pheno pause.
All Phenol's fault.
All
guys.
no, actually, that pause had nothing to do with the game. I'm just completely joking. Valve, please don't fire me. LGD.int is gonna be third draft. They're gonna pick up Crystal Maiden. So this is what they did. This is the game that you guys casted earlier. They went offensive, right? They just did pretty well, but
Timbersaw. Yeah, Crystal Maiden is pretty okay in an aggressive trialing. Not the best against Lifestealer, first of all. She doesn't have a hard disable, so if she does Frostbite him, he can actually rage out of it. But if rage is over, it's great. Stops him from attacking. We'll hold him in place, a little bit of magic damage. But Frost Nova is also going to be very useful to initiate. Pretty good ranged disable, and a lot of mana for your whole team. And especially when you're working a Sand King and a Razor and a Dragonite, that extra mana aura is actually going to be really useful. These are all heroes that are not int heroes, very atypical. Int heroes usually dominate most drafts, and they're going to have a lot more extra mana without having to spend money on it. So these support heroes will have extra mana for more spams and more opportunities to get kills.
And shout out to Gunrun, our Twitch TV helper, I suppose. He takes care of us when technology goes awry. He loves his Sand King.
He does. He told me about that. He's like, yeah, I only play Sand King. I'm like, look,
Well,
man.
Sand King's right here, right now, and dare I say, this could be a farming Sand King, right? Because
Really?
you're laning against a Lifestealer or a Timbersaw, and Caustic Finale could do some work. Now, obviously, LGD.int or the Chinese in general love to play support Sand King as well. So I think that's a little bit more of a high possibility, but I won't count out of farming Sand King. I personally love farming Sand Kings myself.
I must say, I like the idea of Caustic Finale versus Timbersaw because it does an AoE magic damage nuke when a creep dies. Timbersaw is naturally really hard to harass because of his reactive armor. So this would give you a way to deal with him and at least harass him away without having to trade right clicks with him.
Maybe I'm going too deep into dairy crafting.
It might be viable. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it later, but it sounds kind of cool. You'd still have trouble with the spin from Timbersaw hitting Sand King, and that reduces his base damage and his total HP, so it would do above average damage to him. But cool idea. I think it'll probably be a support Sand King, because Sand King's stunned to initiate, Crystal Maiden nukes to follow up, and maybe a Dragonite or probably Razor in the tri lane.
Now this is a fairly interesting pick out on Shadow Demon. You talked about, we saw SD Razor as a combo before, so maybe this is a possibility of denying them that combination. But at the same time, what is SD really doing in this game? I guess you could purge Dragonite when he has a Shadow Blade initiation against you. Perhaps you could protect your hero for 2.5 seconds of those epicenter pulses if he's out of trouble. It just doesn't feel like he's a powerful combination. You're not setting up a Twin Head Dragon. You're not really you're not setting up anything. I guess you're setting up some Centaur Stomps in theory.
Timbersaw, Chakram.
I guess.
That's about it. It's really not that much. You're definitely right about that. It will protect their allies, but I mean, Lifestealer is mostly going to be covered. Won't have to worry about getting disabled that much because he'll be raging. I don't know. It's not even a good disable to try to shut down Sand King from epicentering. I mean, there's much better disables you could go with if you're looking to do that. So it is a reliable support, though. I mean, we all know that Disruption is fantastic, and it's been said many times that Shadow Demon scales really well in the late game.
Yep.
But who knows?
It definitely helps him with the burst damage. Perhaps we're definitely focusing on his defensive capabilities. But what about Disruption, Soul Catcher, and suddenly you just burst him down with some, kind of parry damage, for example, from Timbersaw. But for now, they're going to ban out the Shadow Fiend, which to me is a very smart ban because Timbersaw, Lifestealer, these two heroes are survivable because they have things like magical immunity, and more importantly, both of them relies on armor, right? We saw a lot of today, mostly from Navi, just Shadow Fiend shredding people's armor apart.
Yep.
By getting, the passive aura.
And Puck's going to be the last pick, so that'll be a mid Puck for LGD.int with G playing that fantastic player, one of the best mids in the world.
Right.
Puck mid, probably
offensive trial?
You might be right. Sand King versus Timbersaw.
Well,
no, I'm sorry. Dragonite's going to be at least solo versus somebody.
Yeah, I think he's
he'll
going to
win
get
the
the
tri
solo
lane.
against whoever's going up top, 1v1.
You think it'll be okay, that's Dire Team. So that'll be a safe Dragonite versus somebody.
And a Morphling, wow.
Morphling the last pick.
Invictus Gaming go way back to TI3 when Morphling was waveforming all over Seattle. You see that picture on Reddit?
Oh, yeah.
The Morphling just descends on Seattle.
I hope it doesn't happen the same. It's fun to see Morphling picked again. There's always that period of time where you're sick of a hero, and I'm finally okay seeing him getting drafted again, but for like 6
Who are you
months
sick
there.
of now, actually?
Life
Stealers?
I'm actually Lifestealer a little bit, I would
Okay.
say, but it's not nearly as bad as last year. Last year was like, if I see anti-major morphling ever again, I'm mad.
Right, but I think this game, it speaks to how Valve, or I guess Ice Frog, has been packaging the game, right? We see a lot more diverse of a hero pool. We
Yep.
saw Timbersaw many times today. You could even say that he's a staple pick now, apparently, in this tournament. We saw Bloodseeker. We're seeing some crazier heroes, and to be honest, I'm not sick of anybody, at least not yet.
Well, let's go over the players really quick for IG. This is Invictus Gaming. If we take a look at this little thing on the map, yeah, they won last year. They're pretty good. So IG's Faith here playing the Shadow Demon. We've got Zhou playing the Lifestealer, going towards the mid lane. Chuan's going to be playing the jungling Chen. We've also got Morphling being played by Ferrari 430. Not a typical role, and he's picked up a Stout Shield, which is... Okay, they swapped.
Okay.
All right, this is a trick. This is what this is. They swapped because they're trying to get them to predict lanes. And then they did actually do this on purpose because that's why he had a Stout Shield. He was like, obviously not going to do Stout Shield Morphling. They swapped their heroes. They've got their correct items, and they're trying to trick LGD into the wrong lanes.
Yeah,
Anyways,
excuse me,
one more. There's one more player, by the way. YYF on Timbersaw.
My
Continue.
bad for cutting you off.
No, it's
What do
okay.
you think about this magic stick on Zoe here on the Morphling? Generally, you don't pick that particular item up, but perhaps he says, I know I'm going to be facing against the offensive tri lane,
Yeah.
and magic stick is probably one of the kind of most effective item in terms of protecting you and staying alive.
Well, he really needs a mana pool. He has picked up Waveform level 1 because he's expecting an aggressive tri-lane. But as soon as he grabs the level of Morph, he's going to need to morph some of his strength over, and that costs a lot of mana pool.
Yep.
So
Yep.
he will definitely need the extra mana that he gets out of the magic
Oh,
stick.
they see Chuan right now. I think they're trying to set up a trap for him. You can see Misery just hiding like a ninja over those trees, but
He looks angry, man. He's got that
alright, he reveals
whole
himself.
set. Looks
And,
almost like a... He has like little wings and stuff, too. It's like
man,
a
this
flying...
is-
That's terrifying. A flying scorpion? Oh, my God.
Well, let's actually introduce LGD International as they are having Misery on the drafter and playing Sand King in the jungle. There's a double damager and gets secured by Pycat, who's playing on the Razor on the offensive tri-lane. 1437 on the Crystal Maiden. Back in the mid lane, it's LGD G playing against 430. He's going to have to match up in disadvantage, in my opinion, on the
Definitely.
Dragonite against 430. And last but not least, on the top, it's going to be your YYF against Brax. We haven't seen Brax on Puckett ever, at least. Not
Yeah,
me.
and he is in a solo position. He's a ranged hero here, so he should have a moderate advantage. He can definitely harass down YYF a lot. The important point to note is that every right click that comes onto Timbersaw gives him an extra point of armor and an
HP
extra
regen.
regen per
Yeah.
second for 16. So every right click you hit him with, he gains at least 16, well, at maximum 16 HP. So basically, it's kind of like an extra Stout Shield. It's like you have 2 Stout Shields, essentially. Unless your armor's already capped out, then you can end up getting some extra. But here's Zhou. Well, is he going to be forced to waveform? No, Pycat's going to take a bunch of his damage, plus 28, and now Morphling is hitting for a total of, what is this, 15 damage? I think he's going to have some trouble
Well,
here.
he's not hitting anything because he's getting zoned out. And Misery and as well as 1437, kind of trying to find those early game kill. It has been said in the past that Crystal Maiden is very dependent on those first 2 ganks. If you fail those first 2 ganks, she's not really a power support in the mid game where she has a lot of powerful stuns or a lot of powerful AoE spells to kind of catch her back. I mean, she has Frost Nova, she has Frostbite, but these are not really the spells that are good enough. That's at least what the pro players think. And so far, they're not finding those first 2 ganks, and I'm somewhat concerned for 1437 right now.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, they are protecting or keeping the Morphling from getting CS. He has exactly 0, so that's going to cause them some trouble. The Shadow Demon as well as the Chen are just grabbing some EXP, so in some ways, they're completely sacking the Morphing. He's getting EXP, but that's it. So it's going to be a rough lane for him.
What is this courier that Dyer's using right now? This is like a baby slaughter thing. You know,
Yeah, I
so-
saw this earlier. Oh, this is the LGD courier.
Oh, okay. That's pretty sick. Cool.
Kind of like a ghost dress girl fish.
All right, sweet. Ghost dress fish, sure.
Girl. Ghost dress
Back in the
girl
jungle,
fish.
we do have initiation. It's going to be disruption into a stomp. Do they have enough damage? That's a question. Oh, there's a test of Faith. Burrow Strike back out, but IG Faith draws first blood. That is free upgrade on the courier. That's free boots of speed. Very nicely played. So we're asking, what is the disruption setting up? It's setting up the Centaur stomp.
Frostbite's going to do some slight damage here to Zhou, and he's going to be fine. He needs to Tango to come back to the lane. 1437 was maybe going to try to help out. And it just goes to show how crappy Sand King Burrow Strike at level 1 is. If you don't get any levels, it is pretty crap, honestly. The range is not going to save you.
Yeah, so actually let's look at how we're doing on the solo lanes. Because the bot lane, we're seeing Zoe, he's not really getting too much done. That's unfortunate for him. But 430 on the mid lane, owning the mid lane as expected. I guess we really haven't talked about why we think this is a favorable matchup. Purge, you want to quickly touch on that?
Yeah, Lifestealer basically has a Feast passive, which means every time he hits a hero, he does 4% of their remaining HP as damage, and he lifesteals that equivalent amount. So it's very good against strength heroes because they naturally have higher HP. So it basically gives them some free lifesteal as well as some free extra damage against that hero.
Yeah, and basically he's gonna just right-click on G, who as a melee hero is always right next to the creep wave. So 430 doesn't have to worry about regen us too much. But back in the top lane here, you can see YYF, just amazingly out harassing Brax as a range hero. Normally you just automatically give the lane matchup to the range hero, but you can see that level 2 of reactive armor. It really allows you to have your basically 8 armor all the time. Even if the puck doesn't right-click on you, you could just right-click on the puck, draw the creep aggro for a bit, and you suddenly get plus 8 armor instantly, and of course 8 HP regen per second. That's a free ring of health.
Yeah, he's less hitting very well additionally.
Back in the bot lane though, Faith really low. He does have boosted speed. He's going to try to perhaps salve up here. Nice tango through as well, and here comes Quan. Nice, miss on the waveform. With that soul catcher on top, he probably could have got the kill. Zoe's kicking himself right now.
Yeah, and Pycat actually eats the last tango, buys some Tranquil Poots from the side shop, and goes right back. And this costs Joe all of his mana actually. He's completely out now. So that means no more waveforms. That means no more morphine. If he gets in trouble, he will die.
Well, that's definitely very, very unfortunate for that. That turned out to be a miskill. Tranquil boots back to full HP, and Pycat completely okay now. He's hitting level 5, and because he's got that Tranquil, it's going to be very hard to get that first initiation on him, especially with slower heroes like Chen as well as Shadow Demon.
So skill build's a little interesting, going for the 1-3-1 build. This gives him some vision as well as damage from Plasma Field. It's actually pretty good at max range, 160 damage. AoE for 1 skill point is great, but most importantly, the static link extra damage. If they can set this up with 2 disables from the Crystal Maiden and the Sand King, it will be an easy kill on a hero like Shadow Demon.
Yep, I completely agree. Top lane here, Arcane Boots is finished. It can be said that you got to be very careful diving against a hero like Timbersaw, because very much similar to, like, I guess a puck. Like, if he makes a successful TP into a counter gank, you could see your entire team dying there. He just chased so well as a team, especially when he has a full mana pool like this. And he is owning the lane so hard. Brax, normally a very powerful player, but just getting completely zoned out by this particular hero. I
mean, YYF is one of the most talented solo laners, but Timbersaw is really hard to deal with. Once he hits level 6, he can harass you for 200 pure damage for only 75 mana. And of course, Brax can always try to do a phase shift, but the pass will come back and look at that, another 200 damage. This is really scary. The bottle just came mid with the courier, so that means Brax gets it second. So there's this huge timing window right now for YYF to try to get a kill.
I mean, he's got orbs, he's got phase. I don't think YYF should dive, like, way too much, but yeah, Brax is spending time bottle curling and not spending time in the lane, and that's YYF. That's all you can ask for, right? You're happy with that.
Yep. So props to YYF for last hitting so well thus far. I mean, they have pretty comparable base damage, so.
Well, there's that teleport scroll on Timbersaw. We do see a gank attempt on the mid lane, which did not work against 430. Infest, Face Boots, Rage. It is going to be absolutely terribly difficult to get that kill. Remember what I said about that first 2 gank being important to your Crystal Maiden? She's level 3, 6.5 minutes in. Misery's level 2.5. These 2 supports, both of them, need so much experience, but they can't find the gank. You're not going to gank mid because there's Rage, Phase Boots. You're not going to gank top because there's Timber Chain. Who are you really going to gank? Morphling's not going to die either because he has Waveform. So, to be honest, if you look at IG's draft as a whole, they pick 3 heroes as cores that are just not going to die in a laning stage against Crystal Maiden and Sand King. Perhaps they have really outdrafted LGD International.
Yeah, on the bright side, Pycat's doing really nicely against the Morphling on the bot lane. He's about to get ganked, though. It's going to be Faith lining this up with a Hellbear Smasher as well as a Dark Troll Summoner. So here comes the initiation. There's the disruption. Here will be the clap. Soul Catcher comes through. Waveform as well. And Pycat is definitely dead. Does very little damage in his defense. So.
Shadow Demon picks up yet another kill.
Yeah, Misery just shifted over, but not here at the right time. So really rough for them. G's also going into the jungle pretty early on here. We usually only see this when you're having a rough time. Puck almost gets killed on the top lane as well, and he's going to have to bottle back up. He does have a 10-charge wand, though.
Yeah, can we say that LGD International is losing every single lane? Is that a fair point?
I would say they are winning bot ever so slightly.
Okay.
I mean, they did get ganked, but Pycat has 28 CS compared to Morphling's 15.
All right, that's fair.
So, but that's not enough for them to be able to win this
They're
here.
burrow striking on that Shadow Demon illusion here, but Pycat, well.
Yeah, that was a replicant from Morphling, so that's why it took so much damage. It's very uncommon to have it this early in their defense. Most Morphlings go max waveform, max morph without grabbing replicate early, but he was trying to pull the creep wave back so that they could take a tower for free. So.
Well, back in the mid lane here, we do see Fur dropping quite low. Like, if he ever drops low like this, he could just pop into a big creep, infest it, and basically go back into full HP. So it depends on how he feel like playing this particular lane. He's got to do that very soon because a range stun could actually get him killed with Misery. Oh, well, Misery just showed himself, and maybe not.
Yeah, he was hoping G would go for it, transform into the dragon form and get the range stun off and then secure the kill, but didn't happen.
Looks like we're going to see yet another kill attempt here. Faith's going to come out here. Nice long-range destruction. We're going to see the net to follow through. There's a net. There's a shockwave, and the waveform will not miss this time here. Zoe cleans up a kill, and with that kill, I think we say IG's ahead in every single lane now.
Yeah, I would agree. A stun on 430 here, but YYF shows up on the mid lane with a TP. He's going for the max Timber Chain build, 2 reactive armor, and a single war lane death. And G's going to continue hitting the tower. Actually, it's going to be continue hitting YYF, or 430, excuse me.
Yep.
Just for some extra damage. And the bot tower dies.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed when just catching glimpses of Alliance versus IG when they picked up Timbersaw is that it's so hard to push against this hero. And look at the play from YYF. He needs one more right click, but Misery burrow strikes to low ground. Meanwhile, G gets the tower. Last set disruption is going to cancel that TP, and G will trade his life for that particular tower. In fact, Crystal Maiden was the person that destroyed the tower, so she gets a little bit of gold for himself. But losing a solo mid DK for that is...
And Pycat may die again. He's stealing a lot of damage from Morphling, though. Plus 168. How many hits does it take there? Puck comes in. There's the Silence ulti as well. That's going to be a double kill in the bot lane.
Sick.
LGD needed that really bad. They were sitting 5-0, and that is right on the snowball range.
Pycat is going for these Chen creeps as well, but doesn't pick it off. But that was a huge rune coil.
Yeah, it really was. Great silence as well. Pycat even skipping his ulti at this point because he wants to have as much plasma field and unstable current as possible.
Yep, back in the mid lane, it looks like we have a Frostbite going against YYF. He doesn't have too much tree to paint to. Nice defensive, offensive disrupt, and they will get out of there. Or will their Misery looking for a stun, but he doesn't have boots. We're going to see Timber Chain getting themselves out of there. So I guess IG dodges the bullet. Very nicely done. And how is our Morphling doing? He hasn't been farming the best on the bot lane. In fact, he's only got 20 CS. This is his time to recover, though, now.
Yeah, him dying has made a big impact on this. Pretty a low CS game, actually, for 10 minutes, at the top CS being 48.
Yep.
Really just shows how weird the lanes have been. I mean, Dragonite versus Lifestealer. I'd argue Lifestealer should have more last hits on the mid lane.
I mean, most of these lanes are very harassment-based, right? You saw Timbersaw trying to harass the Puck answering back. The melee mid-dual lanes is, or 1v1 lane is nothing but harass. And of course, you don't expect a Morphling to have too much CS on the bot lane.
Yeah.
You see that they're trying to force waveform out of Zoe, and then you're going to set up a stun. But Zoe just waveform to the right side. Can he make that TP out, though? That's the question. He's going to try. I don't think he will make it out because
he's buying.
He's buying. He's dead. He buys the Wraith Band. He buys the teleport
He's got a
scope.
waveform in
He's got another
2 seconds.
waveform.
Okay.
Oh, nice. He goes to the left side, but he's out of mana.
We'll see if he gets killed. 7 seconds wait, and they're going to give up. So that was really nicely done. He bought first, and then he damaged us. He said, okay, I'm going to morph a little bit. I'm going to make a replicant. I'm going to teleport it. He could have just waveformed, perhaps, but
To the left, yep.
order the trees. I don't know. There's a lot of choices, but he ended up doing a replicant. It's about equivalent in terms of mana. It's 150 for his ulti to transform and 165 for his waveform. So
And guess
only
what?
one or the other.
YYF TP's in, sees a 3-4 man here, but Burrow Strike's
Oh,
going to
he
hit
might
on
die
Zoe.
this time. He doesn't have the mana. He's going to have to wand here. Great. Arcane Boots. Going to give him a second. He ends up morphing over. Going to be on the chase now. Pycat running for his life, but nice juking there. Tranquil Boots as well as a Tango. Now he wants to fight. He still has plus 112 damage. Can he pick him off? The nuke comes through. Zhou's in trouble. There's the silence, but he's morphing enough. Brax is trying to get the kill, but it's not going enough. Pycat has no more damage anymore. He lost his timing window, and Zhou will stay alive.
How often do you see a Razor with plus 100 damage running for a life, but Brax is not done yet. He sees Zoe's on low HP, fires the orb, Zoe says, no, not at this time. I'm okay. And suddenly, perhaps Brax is going to be hunted as, well, maybe not, because YYF is hanging around with like no HP. Brax wishes he has a big attack. I don't think YYF sees him.
Is he going to orb this?
I mean,
there's no way he'll land it. YYF will juke it, but still.
In theory, he should, right? But now Brax will have to use the orb for himself to run to the left. But he's going to be enclosing because Faith is coming in. So is Tron. And right now, there's no teleport scroll on Brax. He will have orb in a couple of seconds. I guess Brax will orb to the left.
I would say
okay.
go up towards the large camp. Okay, he's going to go left. Comes the phase shift, and he will get out.
He's not getting any closer to home, let me tell you that. And look at this creeping micro by Tron. Sees?
Here comes
Brax.
the net.
There's a net. There's a creep wave,
I
and
think
there's
he's
a
gonna
tower,
make it.
right?
And here comes the orb.
The 2 towers focusing.
Phase shift. Okay. All right. Good. Good.
All right.
All right. Now
But
he just needs like 3 more orbs, and he's got it, guys. Okay.
There's an unstoppable streak on Faith, but the more amazing thing is that how IG was able to predict Twan's micro, by the way. Just send the net creep over this way, and then he harasses Hero this way. Like, he already knew exactly where Brax was running. That was impressive.
Maybe he should have sacrificed himself to the tower. It's hard to say. They did a nice job shifting over. At the very least, it does waste some of their gold. And level 4 in Sand King now. Level 6 on Crystal Maiden. They could try to set up a kill top if possible. It's only a lifestealer though, so they have to like get a range stun. And here comes the ulti. Ulti off cooldown just now. G's going to be looking to do it. There's a
That's not gonna
transform.
work. Yeah.
That was way too early, I think. But I guess they can still take the tower. I mean, they were maybe knowing
if
that
Timbersaw
wasn't
don't
gonna happen.
TP in, then you can. Because apparently when Timbersaw TPs in, it don't matter who you're pushing with. And guess what? Timbersaw and the rest of the team is here. In fact, they're going to use a Lifestealer Bomb. This is insane.
And they have an armlet on the lifesteal as
Here
well.
we
There's
go.
the initiation. Chakram comes through, not able to grab any open wounds. The range a little bit too slow. And Zhou is also TPing in. Use an orb for harass here, and that stops any gank potential.
I just want to say that it just really shows you the power of Timbersaw in terms of what he has done this game. Every time that LGD.int has mounted an early game push, Timbersaw, a single TP, a single chakram or two, there goes your push, because you can't really push early game without your creep wave. You don't have a pipe or you don't have a mech to tank the tower like that. And in fact, IG pushing right back. They're saying, hey man, Zou's already here. Let's make something of it.
Man, having Puck and Razor on the same team right here is so useful. Really stops the push.
Both team is just melting every creep wave. Zou on the front line, just right-clicking. There's a Nova being dropped here by the Crystal Maiden.
Some more damage being done. It's going to be deniable range pretty soon here. Another nuke is done. And who's going to get the deny? They're going for it.
my
Razor
God.
does grab it. Great play by Podcat. He's run out. Timber Chain comes through. Big damage. Pops the one. Brax is going to drop down the ulti. Uses the Silence Orb as well, but he's orbing out, running for his life. He's a little bit underfarmed. G also trying to escape. Gets disrupted. Not looking good for him. Also open wounds. And here's some more nukes. I think they're giving up on G. G is going to go down, and IG is still pursuing LGD.int here. 10-2. Big disadvantage for them.
They're not done yet. Oh, that Crystal Maiden. Oh no, CM. Look at how easy it is. Double kill on YYF. Again, this IG squad has just figured out how to deal with the aggression of IG. When they want to push, get Timbersaw. Because you know just by having a point booster and arcane boots, he has enough tank and HP just to stand on the front line. And there's no way that LGD.int could actually push against a Lifestealer on the front line as well, who has armlet already.
He is really strong in the early game. I mean, there's not enough attack speed on the Lifestealer right now, but he will get there. And he's really hard to kill, which is the important part. They have 3 really hard to kill heroes, and they've got a Chen to defend them. I mean, how are you supposed to secure a kill against that lineup?
And a Shadow Demon. We were kind of questioning what the Shadow Demon's for. I mean, it gives them a very long chasing spell and a Demonic Purge. If you go on any of these heroes, Disruption is going to be there. So it looked a little bit awkward at first, but it looks pretty good right now. And did I hear an Infest Bomb? Yes, YYF has your Lifestealer inside of him.
It's not looking good for LGD.int. The Razor just passed the Shadow Demon in GPM because of all the towers being taken.
They see G.
G might be in trouble. Here comes the chase. Are we going to see? Does do some slowing. He actually jukes back. A bit of a mistake there. There's the open wounds, and G is going to go down for sure because of it. Should have continued running.
This looks like an IG that stomps on everybody, and they do it easily.
Well, you think it's time? Are they finally here?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. That's 14:37. Easy kickoff. IG has some very testing games tomorrow. And, well, right now they're testing LGD.int because the score is 13-2 when LGD.int is going to be supposed to be a team that's taking the early game ring. When you have Crystal Maiden and Sand King and Puck, you need to, get a ton of things done early. They didn't. IG is just face rolling everywhere they go. And Tier 2, perhaps being sieged on the bot lane.
It's the power of YYF, man. He was able to outlane Brax pretty easily. Maybe not easily, but I mean, Timbersaw does have a lane advantage against Puck, I would say, but he did a really good job, got his farm in, and the other lanes also did pretty well, despite like the early game being really rough. Morphling had to sacrifice a lot.
Speaking of Morphling, he sees Misery right now, and Misery is trying to run for his life. Waveform just to gain a little bit of ground there. He does have treads, but Misery is surprised. Oh, never mind. YYF
Barely catches
Spider-Man.
him.
Yeah, that's his Bloodstone, by the way. He's got 9 charges for picking up that particular kill. We're 14 minutes in, or 17 minutes in, and the score is 14-2. 10,000 goal lead.
Now Brax is going to be able to pick up his Blink Dagger, though. A bit slow at 17 minutes, but a Blink on Puck now allows him to do AoE silences and ultis on preferably multiple heroes. And that could catch even core heroes like Lifestealer, stop him from raging. If it can catch Timbersaw as well, he can't Timber Chain away. But at this point, killing Timbersaw is really not going to
Yeah, I mean, are they going to be honest, do enough damage through the natural tankiness of those heroes, especially with Chen and ST protecting them? I just think that the level and item deficit has really... I mean, you have heroes like Sand King and Crystal Maiden who... Their spell damage doesn't scale that well.
Yeah, it doesn't. Unless you get lucky on your ulti.
I guess so. But
he was 6 a while ago, 0-3-0 at the moment. The supports really haven't been able to do anything. Both supports actually sitting at 0-3-0. That's not where you want to be as a support hero. And I think their aggressive Triland is maybe a little too hopeful this game.
Yeah, when you have ganking supports and they 5-man against you, there's nothing for you to gank. And you can't really just take a direct team fight to face because Timbersaw runs right at your Crystal Maiden. And she's dead, right? So IG takes all the tower, but that's a 3-man Dream Coil into 3-man Waning Rift. But how much are they going to do? Ferrari says, I'm going to go right in. They can focus on Razor.
Wow.
And Razor is dead. Timber Chain's going to be on everybody. Misery's dying second. And they're going to focus on G. He's supposed to be a tank in the front line. He's going to go down as well. Look at the Hand of God healing everybody. Everybody as a train is chasing. 1437 is going to TP out. Doesn't even finish the TP. Jesus. Double buyback coming out from LGD International. But there's the GG called. IG is just rolling so hard.
They had to GG it. I mean, at that point in the game, there was nothing else they could do. I mean, really good defensive play from IG. They didn't create any openings for the aggressive tri-lane. They just said, okay, Shadow Demon, you're going to jungle with Chen. We don't want any openings. They can't gank mid. They can't kill our Morphling. Just sack the Morphling for now and wait until later when we have a level advantage, and then we'll start killing their supports when they make mistakes. Like, just absolutely great play from IG there. Their draft was really sick. And
yeah, how much was it with your draft? Or when you have a good draft and then you just play?
well,
like,
they played very well based on the draft and the way that the lanes ended up. I think LGD's plan was fairly okay, but the matchups weren't what they wanted. The Dragon Knight Lifestealer is unfavorable. The Puck Timbersaw is unfavorable, and their aggressive tri-lane, one of their heroes being a Sand King, was completely unnecessary. That hero could have been any other support hero, and they would have had way more potential of killing the Morph.
When you have a game like 19-2 as a final score, generally you don't talk about the draft too much. But it speaks to the predictability of LGD.int. When you go offensive trialing like this, and then you could pick 3 core on IG side that could dodge ganks very easily against the dual ganks. To me, it was a draft victory, and of course, obviously, everybody played well. We saw YYF having a huge impact up top, got quick levels, and then none of the towers ever got pushed down until much later because he made a TP. Chakram was on the is it called Chakram or is it called something else?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Well,
Something like
Chakram
that.
is keeper's spell. Chakram?
No, Chakra.
A Chakram
Chakram.
defended everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a sweet IG victory. We're going to have one final game on Beyond the Summit stream. It's going to be coming up next. It's going to be game 2 between IG and LGD International. We're going to take a quick break, but once we come back, we're going to have late endgame analysis. Where's Ben?
I'm here, guys.
Guys, Blitz is
All right, Blitz is here.
Give him 5 seconds.
All right.
I was watching.
Are you awake?
I'm wide awake.
Okay.
All right, let's hand it over to Blitz.
Son.
Here we go. Blitz, take it away.
So that was a pretty cool game. Okay, wait. So the hard thing about that was the Timbersaw versus Puck matchup. Like, you can't stress that enough. Timbersaw really easily wins that matchup because if you think about it, if Puck isn't in the mid lane and he can't get runes and he doesn't have easy access to Bottle Crow like Dragon Knight does, then it's difficult for him to spam his spells to force the Timber out. And you do it so sporadically that the reactive armor just kind of heals him up to full. And it makes it difficult in a one-on-one matchup for him to do anything against YYF. So not much for Brax to do there. That was more just like really smart laning than anything. And the tri-lane, or like, it was like a dual lane at bottom, right? It was like a Morph, a Shadow Demon, and then they had the Chen in the side. As long as Shadow Demon isn't out of position, and Faith really wasn't at any point during that game, then if anything terrible happens, then you can just disrupt the Morph, and then he just waveforms away. Like, no matter what. There's no way you can drain his mana in time. Like, you can harass him out, but that's a lane that Morph shouldn't die in. Shadow Demon shouldn't die in. Chen shouldn't die in. And then in mid, you have a Lifestealer against a DK, which is actually pretty decent for the Lifestealer. I know LGD.int was actually the first team I saw run the Lifestealer mid against a melee. And it's a really difficult lane for the other melee because as soon as he comes up, you just right-click him. You don't need to go for runes. You can just go straight for phase boots. You can skip a bottle. So, like, all 3 lanes were essentially won, or at least broke even or better. And then for a carry like Razor, if you're behind, he doesn't really do anything.
Yep.
And when you're playing against a hero like Timbersaw, who goes in the front lines and it says, like, look at me, like, what is Razor going to do? He's not going to steal his damage because Timber doesn't rely on his right-click whatsoever.
Yeah, the really interesting thing about this game is, like, the Lifestealer comes, says, hey guys, I'm big, I'm bad. And then Razor says, I one-up you with my EP-ness with the link.
Yeah.
And then Timbersaw says, "Who's got the biggest EP-ness?" with the hook in, right? So I think that really speaks back to the draft, right?
It was kind of clever when you pick the Razor against the Lifestealer, but you still don't have any lockdown for him, right?
Yeah, that's
It-
you don't
it's
have
like-
a Beastmaster roar.
Yeah,
you
it's
don't
like
have a
you're trying to take him
Purge.
out by taking his damage out. But in the same way, if you can't really static link him at any point, then it's a moot pick. And there were so many heroes that they had to deal with. They had to deal with a Morphling, a Timbersaw, and a Lifestealer. And those are all 3 heroes that require a lot of lockdown. And if you looked at LGD.int's lineup, I mean, they had the Puck ultimate, but Brax wasn't able to get in any traction and wasn't able to get his Blink Dagger. And for that lineup to succeed, they really needed a really quick blink on him.
Yeah, the only 2 kills they had was the Dream Coil onto the 2 like kills that Razor picked up on the bot, and that would look pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But
That was all they got.
Yeah, that's all they got. So
Yeah.
Their supports participated in 0 kills. Like, that's 2 heroes that did nothing, essentially, other than zone out a hero at one point.
Yeah.
they gave away some gold in mid.
That was like sloppy positioning too in general. Like when 1437 got picked off when the mid tower was going down.
Mhm.
Like it just looked like LGD International kind of fell apart there. But that's going to be my post game analysis for game 2.
Game 1.
Can we
Game
get a
1?
title? Blitz's post-game analysis.
Yep. Thank you, Blitz. That was insightful and funny. Thank you very much.
You're great.
We'll be back for game number 2 momentarily.